Welcome into Bobcat Live here on KFJB-TV, streaming on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and 1230KFJB.com. I'm Brandon Lewis. Dylan Doe's here with us at Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown, and, of course, Coach Adam Goodvin for the football squad, as we've got a full night of football to talk here, plus swimming. We're excited. The swimming team here, Angie Nilsson, head coach. She's speaking in. Angie, hi. All right. I think she's ready for her TV debut later. But we'll talk a little girls swimming, and about 20 of them came out here to Zeno's to get their meal in as a team, and we'll be talking with them coming up later in Bobcat Live towards the back end of the hour. We'll also talk to one of your assistants, Tim Holmgren. Of course, big Friday night, not only the game against Waterloo East, but honoring 50 years of the MFL. How about that?
That's right.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff for 50 years going on here in Marshalltown with the MFL. So we'll talk about that later. You just got done with practice. How was it? Walk through?
Another good walkthrough. Yeah. It was. Kids were focused, locked in, and they're excited to play a home game finally. And it was a good one, about as good as we could ask.
Have you been monitoring the forecast?
It's gonna be a hot one, isn't it?
Yeah. 91 tomorrow. So guys, drink the pickle juice tomorrow. Stay hydrated.
That's an everyday reminder. Yeah.
Yeah. Even as you get older, it's an everyday reminder. That is for sure. So, and I know a little chance of rain and things like that in the forecast as well for tomorrow. When you're kind of looking at that, does that make you a little bit nervous? Thunderstorms.
Someone mentioned that this afternoon. I haven't even looked at it yet. Hopefully it stays away, but it is what it is. We've played in rainy, muddy games before, so we'll be all right.
You were telling me your first year you went to Fort Dodge, and you had storms, and you actually played on Saturday.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was kind of a goofy day. Luckily, we didn't hit the road for Fort Dodge. It was canceled before we left, and had to gather everyone up Saturday morning and head up there for a Saturday game. Yeah. That's one, like, you just never know as a coach what you might find. You might go to, a certain spot, and they might not even have power or locker rooms. I know you kind of ran into that issue last year. Yeah, we've got to be extremely flexible.
Yeah, ready to go for everything, even at the 5A level, so. Yeah. I remember a weather game. I was at Granger Terrell. You know where that's at? Northwest Iowa?
Now, you've mentioned it before, and that's the only time I've ever heard of it.
They were our biggest rival, Granger Terrell, when I was at Armstrong Ringstead. But anyway, I was calling games for a radio station, and it's much like Dylan's trip to softball. What was it, baseball or softball to Waterloo West?
No,
East.
Waterloo East.
Yeah.
Waterloo East. Okay, baseball. You go up to Waterloo East, have to play an afternoon game, no lights. You then get to the press box, and it's a box, and you go in, and I'm looking, I have the radio stuff, and you're looking at this wooden ladder mashed against the wall, and there's this little cutout going into plywood. Me looking at this is like, this is impossible, but the dude up there already is twice my size. Like, I'm still not sure how he quite made it through the hole, but it's me throwing it up there to try to get up and then climbing up this ladder that I'm not, it's like going up to a hayloft.
Yeah.
And the first thing when I started working in Waterloo is like, is there any way we can raise money to switch this press box out?
Yeah. Anyway, I was in Grettinger calling a game. They were playing, and we had severe weather. I went back to the radio station because I thought they were going to cancel the game and play the next day. Did severe weather coverage, and then I called the AD, and they said, yeah, we're going in 20 minutes, and luckily it was only a 15-minute drive. So you never know. That is for sure. You got to be flexible as a broadcaster as well. So we will get into week number 2, Waterloo East, obviously on the slate, as Marshalltown will be at home. We'll dive into that with head coach Adam Goodvin as we take a quick time out here on Bobcat Live from Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown, right here on KFJB-TV.
Marshalltown's best pizza, Zeno's is the place to get delicious homemade pizza from scratch that the whole family will love. For some, it's a family tradition, and Zeno's Pizza is all about old-school family-owned pizza making. Zeno's respects tradition so much that they have had the same thin crust pizza recipe for over 70 years. There are a couple of ways to get your Zeno's Pizza. You can dine in, order online for pickup, or call 641-752-1245. Zeno's Pizza, 109 East Main Street, downtown Marshalltown.
Bobcat Live on KFJB and KFJB-TV. I'm Brandon Lewis, Dylan Doe's head coach Adam Goodvin for the Marshalltown Bobcat football squad. Coach, week number 1 in the books, but just kind of wanted to get your final thoughts on that. Obviously, week number 1 is a good week where you kind of learn a lot about yourself, right?
Yeah, you do. Every single year you're going to go in and you know you're going to make mistakes, and the biggest thing is you hope that it's not too many. And I truthfully don't believe it was a whole lot. And they're extremely fixable things. We got a smart group of kids. They know they know the mistakes we made. We identified them on film Monday and really worked to improve in all those areas. And I think we have this week at practice.
One thing, when you say fix mistakes, and we talked after the game on Friday, and of course there were some things you could just see on the field that were pretty blatant, but once you went into the film room and you come out Monday, what were a couple of the pieces that you're looking on the top of the list to say, hey, we have to fix this?
Well, number one's just mental mistakes within the game, and like I said, we've got a group of really smart kids that have played a lot of football in the past, and you watch out on film, and they're the first ones just kind of like, gosh, that was just stupid. Why did I do that? And they know that, but I think it comes down to they're 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, and they just got themselves super excited and just ready to play a football game, and that's awesome. That's what you want. I think we're going to be a little more calmed down, but at the same time, ready to get out there and get after it, in a hopefully smarter way.
Is week 1 and like homecoming week kind of comparable? The excitement level and the build up to it.
It kind of is. I never thought of it that way, but it's very similar.
Mm-hmm. Of course, this week you're back at home. Last year, this game you took care of business on the road. You got yourself your first victory of the season last year at Waterloo East. It was a kind of an interesting night. I remember it kind of got foggy there. Mm-hmm. I think he kicked off like almost a half an hour late. A lot of different things, but guys adjusted well in that game, and you won 33-14. And it was kind of a similar setup here that you're looking to come back home and take care of business tomorrow.
Yeah, I remember that game last year. It was a little weird. I think the curtain raiser game lasted a little longer than everyone had anticipated, and we came out and didn't play a clean game by any means whatsoever. But a lot of those guys from that game are back with us and going to be playing tomorrow night. So that's a positive, and the growth that they've made since then is unbelievable. So like I said at the beginning, we're ready to play a home game and get back out there. We're hungry.
The other thing that's unknown is DeCarlos Anthony. He's the new head coach for Waterloo East, and their new head coach again. I believe their coach last year was a new coach in the first year last year too. So they're kind of going through that again. I mean, you played at the collegiate level. Do you look back on just like the consistency from the coaching standpoint and things like that? How big does that actually really play a role in things?
Yeah, I think if you're consistently hearing the same message and having the same goals that you're shooting for as a collective group, that's huge. And it's tough coming in June. I think that's when he came in and trying to prepare in that short amount of time to play a football season and get those group of players on the same page. That's extremely tough and challenging. I kind of went through that get late when I took the job, and it was extremely hard. But the biggest thing I'm sure he's focusing on it as well is getting his kids to play hard, which they do. We've seen that on film. They play hard. They're athletic. They're fast. But we just got to take advantage of the other small things.
And we see that last week they had a big rivalry game too. Played Waterloo West, the Wahawks, and last year the Wahawks kind of blew the doors off. This year it was a one-score matchup. East looks like they're going to throw around the ball a little bit as well, similar to Ames, and I see we're in a 3-4 again this week. As you look at that defensively, what is it about the 3-4 that really jumps out to you?
Yeah, I think the number one thing with that defense is it pulls one of our O-line, D-line guys off the field and gets them a little breather, and then puts in an additional linebacker who can fly around and make some plays and in space. And like you said, East, they like to throw the football. They've got a junior quarterback that's a pretty talented kid, it seems, on film, and he's got some weapons on the outside. So defensively, we're going to have to make sure we're getting pressure all night long and making his job difficult.
Depth at the high school level can always be a challenge for anyone, but at the collegiate level, depth might be a little bit easier for you as you go up a level and recruiting and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm getting at is a lot of the good teams, they're constantly rotating out defensive linemen to get after the ball and that kind of thing, right? I mean, that's what you want. That's the end goal, is to be able to rotate out guys in that line.
Yeah. You want guys in there that are fresh and that can play with a motor and create a havoc for that offensive line and that quarterback and put them in difficult situations, no doubt.
Yeah.
And I thought last week, and I said this, and with Clay and David right there, I don't want to say it too loud. I was, from a defensive line, I didn't know quite what to expect, and I thought last week there was a lot more pressure that was created through that rotation where you never really saw the same three down linemen, but I thought you guys did a great job of getting some pressure there.
Yeah, we're very proud of our effort on the defensive line for sure. One play that stuck out to me was David made a tackle for loss and didn't even touch the running back. He came off the ball really explosive and powerful, drew through their right tackle back right into the running back, and he went down. I think the fastest he did all night. So, all around, just great effort by them. We're very proud.
We saw Poe, I think he went for 25 yards or so for Ames on the first carry he had, and then he didn't really do a whole lot second and third quarters. It seems like you guys on the defensive line did a really nice job to kind of set the edge, and then guys like Ace in the linebacker spot were able to kind of help, come up, and Nick Rebick obviously led the team in tackles on Friday night. So do you think that the defensive line did a really good job to open things up for the guys in the linebacker squad to move around?
Absolutely, and they're understanding their roles every single day even more, and like you said, opening up holes for our linebackers to fly around and fill and make plays. And I'm just super excited to see the improvement we've made from week 1 to week 2 tomorrow night.
One thing, flipping on the other side of the ball, we talked a lot going into it. We knew Dalen was going to be a whole lot better than he was against Ames last year, where he was 1 of 8. At one point Friday night, he completed 12 or 13 passes in a row. Mm-hmm. When you look at what Dalen did, he was able to push the ball a little bit down the field. Trayshawn made a couple good plays, and then Niall has a lot more speed than I was anticipating as he was pulling away on the touchdown pass. What do you see with a year removed? Now we have summer workouts, have camp in, and then you got to see Dalen behind center last Friday. What are you expecting from him this week?
Even more improvement. It's like you said, he started off with 12 or 13 straight completions, after the screen pass initially, but mentally he's understanding the whole game. It's coming to him a lot slower. He's seeing everything and making smart decisions. That's something we talk about on a daily basis, is just take what they give you. Don't try to push anything. Don't be a superhero, and take what they give you, and good things are going to happen.
If you got guys like Clay and David blocking for you, you got to feel pretty confident.
Absolutely. He's pretty fortunate to have a couple kids like that.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, so Waterloo East offensively, I know we talked a little bit about Dalen, but this is a game where last year you guys had pretty good success. I think Malachi broke out for a big run in that game. So is that the key? Obviously, I know you like to run the ball.
Yeah, you got to be able to run the football to be successful, and we got to establish that early from the get-go. And hopefully we can maintain that and keep finding things that work for us and keep them off balance. They're an active group over there. They've got 3 down linemen and 2 defensive ends that are stand-up ends off the edge, and they crash hard. So hopefully they run themselves out of plays and put them in positions where these guys are able to make some key blocks, and our running backs are able to make the reads off of those, and we have some success on the ground.
Nick Rebick got over 15 carries. What did you think of his week number 1 last week for you out of the backfield?
He had a hard workload. I mean, they were very active and physical, and he kind of took what they gave him, and it wasn't a lot at times, but he wasn't pushing things, and we're working every single day to create bigger holes, and he's got great vision. So if he sees something, he's going to go. So Proud of his effort last week, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the kind of the 3 backs, and of course Ace is in more of that wing back role, but you look at Tate, you look at Nick, and then you have Ace. How would you break down the differences between those 3 backs?
Oh, they're all 3 so different. They're all 3. They've just got tons of skills and talent that not a lot of kids have. I mean, Tate, only being a junior, we'll start with him. I mean, he's got some explosiveness. His cuts are phenomenal. If you watch him at practice, he can cut on a dime and go. Nick's vision is phenomenal. He sees the work that these guys put in and the holes that they open up. And Ace is kind of a little bit of both. You know, he's a downhill guy and he's a physical guy and he'll run you over. And we can also get him on the edge, and he'll try to outrun guys too. So they all bring a lot to the table, and we're lucky to have them.
Week number 1, there's always, I think I mentioned this to you before, but that element of unknown and not a lot of tape out there, and being able to see how much different is that between week number 1 and then now week number 2, where at least if it's not a lot, you're at least seeing something.
Yeah, it's huge. We got a little film on. Ames from their scrimmage, and honestly, we probably got more film from more quality of film from that than we did from the tape that we got from the Waterloo East-West game, unfortunately. But it's something. We know a little bit about what they do, and but it all comes down to taking care of business within ourselves and making sure that we're doing things the right way. With us.
When I was in high school, our coaches or somebody on the coaching staff would have to drive and meet somebody to get exchange tape. That does not happen anymore, does it?
No. We have to have film uploaded and shared to a league pool on Huddle by noon the next day.
Okay, yeah, all right. So
we can just pick and pull from that.
That's pretty good. But they also get to dictate what they upload then, huh?
Yeah, there's some kind of. There's some guidelines that the state sends out, and I don't know what happens if you don't follow them. I guess.
Well, we're glad you're in good standing.
Yeah, right. We try to be. We try to be.
Waterloo East on Friday night. Obviously, back at home. What do you, in your eyes, kind of walk down to the field and getting ready for football Friday night? What's that like at home?
Well, it doesn't matter if it's home or away. It's butterflies, I think, is the feeling you get every single Friday night. And but it's a locked-in mentality. Focus on the task at hand, and we're ready to get out there and fly around and make plays. But our kids, like I said from the beginning, they're smart. They're excited to get back out there. Last week left a bad taste in our mouth, and we want to play football.
Sounds good, Coach. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, that's head coach Adam Goodvin for Marshalltown football. Of course, coming up, we will talk to the big boys who are doing work on the offense and defensive line, Clay Jakey and David Santa Cruz. That's ahead. You're watching Bobcat Live from Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown right here on KFJB-TV.
Marshalltown knows competition. We started forging trowels in 1890 and evolved into manufacturing tools for masonry, drywall, concrete, flooring, tile, paint, and more. Today, we're still going strong. Marshalltown strong. As a worldwide leader in manufacturing, we crush the competition. We believe in our community and are proud to support Bobcat Athletics.
Trilogy Embers, independent living for active seniors.
This is your invitation. Hi, this is Lindsay, Director of the Embers Retirement Community, inviting you to tour the Embers. While you are here, I'll show you the studio, 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, and all of our amenities. We will socially distance for your safety, and I'll show and share with you all the Embers has to offer. Call me to schedule a tour at 641-754-7000. Embers Retirement Community, 1211 West State Street in Marshalltown.
In times of financial uncertainty, how can you stay on track? Call on someone who's invested in your success. Zach Wall, your Marshalltown Edward Jones financial advisor, is here to help you. He will work to build a complete picture of your financial life, including your unique goals and passions, so he can help you achieve what's most important to you. Call Zach Wall at 641-752-3017 to schedule an appointment today. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Legends American Grill is Marshalltown Steakhouse. Ribeyes and sirloins, aged, hand-cut, and served with your choice of 2 of Legends' legendary sides and a dinner roll. If you are a prime rib fan, Legends has prime rib every Friday and Saturday starting at 4 p.m. With 3 sides to choose from, it's chef-seasoned and slow-cooked to tender, juicy perfection. Try Legends prime rib, and you'll know why it's Marshalltown's favorite. Legends American Grill is Marshalltown Steakhouse.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. Marshalltown Area Chamber of Commerce reminds you that when you shop locally, you are benefiting members of our community and adding to our local community overall. You'll find local business owners are generally more knowledgeable, provide better service, and even know their customers by name. Marshalltown Area Chamber of Commerce exists to be an advocate for our business community. Membership in the Chamber benefits your business and adds to the strength of our advocacy efforts. For more information on shopping locally and Chamber membership, go to marshalltown.org.
Welcome back into Bobcat Live here on KFJB-TV, streaming at YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. David, are you a subscriber on our YouTube channel yet?
I will be.
Okay. That's the right answer. Facebook and streaming at Twitter and 1230kfjb.com. It's David Santa Cruz. How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Good, doing good. Clay, how are you?
Good. How about you?
Good. Yeah, Clay was in for our preseason kind of shoot with our videos and all that kind of stuff. And David, I don't know if you know, but we've talked about you a lot on Bobcat Live because we've talked to Alan Mann about strength and conditioning, and Coach also brought it up. But you are one of the leaders in the weight room, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Some things, you know.
It's pretty cool to see the commitment that you guys have, because there's a lot of work that goes. I mean, somebody might come out to a game on Friday night, but there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that you guys are doing, right?
Oh, yeah. There's way more work behind the scenes that there is that people see.
Yeah.
People just see, like, the results of the work that you put in off the field.
Yep. Yeah, Clay, for you, what's kind of the off season like during the summertime as you're getting ready for camp and all that kind of stuff?
Right. Summertime is kind of my time to get ready for the season. You know, I do programs. You know, work on agility, speed, strength, and also the weight room. You know, and David's a big leader in that. You know, just getting guys up there, making sure accountable, and I think we really follow that really well. So.
David, I can't remember what it is, but you lift 500 pounds in. Is it it's not the clean, is it?
No, it's a squat.
Squat? Okay. I don't know. I'm not, It's been a few years since I've been in an actual weight room. I could probably use some of your leadership in showing me some things, but 500 in the squat, you said?
Yeah,
okay.
515.
515.
Yeah.
I asked Alan Mann how many times. He thought you could bench me at least twice.
I'll have to put that to the test.
All right.
I love it.
All that work goes on, and then boom, week 1 is here. Did it go pretty quick?
I think we won. In the beginning, it was a little slow, first week back after a whole year, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go a little bit slow, but once you get into the gist of it, you start getting the sweat in,
Mm-hmm.
Get back into the mindset, really, of how it is in the game, and I think it went pretty smooth, pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think it went pretty well overall, especially for us linemen.
Yeah.
I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, that's the one thing is obviously Dallas Sauser was trying to sling it all over the place, but you guys really did a good job of bottling up Poe in the backfield. I mean, a lot had been said about him going to his junior season and high expectations, but you guys did a really good job. What do you think that came down to? Just communication on the line, or what do you think it was?
I think it was a combination of a lot of things. Just how last year we were all together on the line. It was basically just the same thing except for Tristan. He graduated. It was the same D line. And I think it just helped a lot with that because me and Clay, we already have a lot of good communication.
Absolutely,
and I think that really came from last year as well to this year.
Mm-hmm.
And communication, physicality, just being really violent on the line, knowing what to do and stuff. I think that helped a lot.
Yeah, Clay, I know that it seems that everybody gets along really well when we've been around you guys a little bit. It just seems like everybody kind of bonds, and so your relationship with Jackson Bowie on the other side of you on the defensive end spot, as well as some of the other guys on the defensive line. So I guess, how do you feel that does translate to you guys really being, cohesive?
Right. I think it takes place off the field too. Off the field, we're all friends, and we kind of have that family aspect. I mean, tonight we had team dinner, so that's a little bit of a bonding. And then I think on the field, we also trust each other. Losing Dominic Garth on that other side But then Bowie coming up and stepping up in the off season, I mean, it's just huge. Having someone I can trust on the other side and make plays.
Mm-hmm. And, we saw Nick Lucas in as well, and he didn't really play a ton on the defensive line. He's been a mainstay there at the center position for you guys on the offensive side. So it just seems like you got a bunch of I don't know if you want to call blue-collar guys that just go to work on Friday night.
Right. We have a lot of guys on the offensive line, want to put in the work and in the off season, and I mean that family aspect too. Like he's kind of our leader. He runs the show, and he understands the assignments of what everybody has to do, and understanding the point of attack, and really tells us and leads us through that.
I don't know if you've ever been to Fairway, but he's really good at carrying out groceries.
He's a good Fairway worker, yeah.
Always getting to Fairway. Always getting to Fairway. David, you talked a lot. I love the word you used. You said, and you played with violence. About halfway through last year, Brandon and I both caught ourselves saying David Santa Cruz a lot. And Clay, we've been saying your name for so long that you are always making plays. So, but David, when you're looking where you're sitting, as we've shifted to that 3-4 for the first two games of the season, as you're playing a lot of that nose tackle there, how does switching from the 4-3 to the 3-4 affect how you go and look at the game?
Definitely the positioning changed a lot from last year, because last year it was Tristan as nose and me as tackle, so I'd always be mainly in a 3-tech. And this year it would be in a 3-front, so I'd mainly be heads up or in a 2-eye. So it just kind of changed the positioning, not really the way I looked at it, but just how intense I have to go on each play, the different play calls I have to listen to. Just being a nose and a tackle is a little bit different, because you have to listen to some of the different play calls, like just stuff like that. But my physicality and my violence just stayed the same, or even went up, I think so. So that's really the only things that changed.
And Clay, like coming off the edge too, like you want to be aggressive and get up to the quarterback, but you also want to make sure that if it's a run play, you don't get burned on the inside, that kind of stuff. So I mean, there's a lot to worry about on that side too, on the outside, right?
Right. I think it's just becoming more mentally sharp on the 3-man front, understanding more of where you have to position yourself, and rather than going full violence, and you have to take more of a mental approach to the game.
Yeah.
And so when you guys look at that, and as I said, that I thought you guys performed better. I didn't know what to expect, so I didn't think, are they going to perform poorly? No, but I didn't know exactly what to expect with no Dominic Garth, no Tristan King. It's just a little bit different line. We saw a very heavy rotation that we didn't quite see last year. How does that heavy rotation help you keep your motor up?
Right, the heavy rotation, I mean, just having that depth and making sure guys, when they get tired, subbing them in and out, because a lot of the guys play both ways, and just making sure that they have that rest, so then they can go 100% when they're put in.
How do you guys stay hydrated? It's going to be hot tomorrow night.
Water.
Water. Well, I was looking for tips. I didn't know if pickle juice, that's my go-to when I was playing. But
pickle juice still works, but you gotta drink some electrolytes before bed, the whole day before.
There's a whole routine. So.
Oh yeah, Coach always tells us make sure you find the biggest glass in your house and drink at least 3 of those before bed.
As you guys head into game days, what's game day like for you? Because obviously you've got class, and then like tomorrow, like what's the routine before you go into the game?
I mean, it's a little different for everybody, but as soon as you wake up, you just got to be locked in. You got to be ready to, go out there and expect to make plays and expect to be physical, because that's what this game is. You just got to, you have to be physical. You can't just go lie down. But, I mean, just mentally locked, get through your classes. Make sure you're focused, though, when it comes game time.
Yeah, for sure. David, you?
Wake up, like Clay said, locked in, ready to go, ready to be physical, ready to be violent. I try to eat a high-protein meal in the morning, a lot of water, electrolytes, try and get my Pedialyte in.
There you go, yeah, Pedialyte's another good one.
So I won't be cramping up in game, because playing both sides of the ball really it gets you.
Yeah.
If you don't prepare well. But,
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, going both ways, I mean, it's... Is there something that you guys look to? Like Because obviously on the defensive side, you want to be super aggressive, but then on the offensive side, if you're on the offensive line, you got to be aggressive, but also, you kind of got to be balanced in your attack to not be over-aggressive and make sure you execute on blocks and stuff like that.
I think you just got to know your positions, know like the different play calls, because some play calls you do have to be really aggressive because you have to get the guy out of the way or else your running back can't go through that hole. It's just knowing your job, knowing what to do, how to do it, really just repping stuff out.
Yeah.
I've decided that I am so happy that I'm not on one of Waterloo East line. I've heard the word violence so much, and I just feel my bones cracking over here.
That is, you bring up a fair point. That is for sure. I don't know how I would attack David, because David, you could blow by somebody and also just run through. I think you'd run through me. I think that's the path you would take.
It just depends.
He's got multiple ways to get after the quarterback, and we look forward to seeing those guys out on the field. Of course, another question for you, though. Waterloo East, I guess you guys have seen a little bit of the tape. What do you think about them, and what things do you know you need to do well, Clay?
Offensive standpoint, I just think we need to understand that we can't. Like, those first two drives are crucial. Setting the tone and being physical right off the bat. Also, understanding your assignment. From a defensive standpoint, you have to be physical and you have to hit him in the mouth. Like, you can't give up that first touchdown and then it just kind of, let your confidence go down. But you have to be physical. Again, violence.
How much did you think that the momentum last week swung back and forth? Because we really felt like going into halftime, you guys had the momentum, and then you come out of the gate, and you guys put up a touchdown and take the lead back there in the second half. It really was that rivalry game where I felt like the momentum switched a few times during the game.
Right. Ames is a difficult team. They are every year. They're our rivals, but we've seen it before. They score their first drive, and then they didn't score for a little bit, and then we come back on offense, score, and at halftime it was like 13-7, and we've seen it before. It's a very close game. It's a I'm gonna say it again. It's a very physical game between us and Ames usually.
Yeah. You a little more sore? You feel like the Ames week or Fort Dodge week, that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Who do you look forward to playing more, like Fort Dodge or Ames? I mean, who are they a rivalry for you?
That's a tough one. I mean, last year we lost in 1 point to Fort Dodge, and I've always hated Dirty Dodgers, always. But I also do not like that orange and black. So it'd probably go a little more the Dodgers. I always look forward to playing them.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, David?
I think I was good at Ames just because of little cyclones.
Yeah, that is for sure. Well, hey guys, thanks for coming here to Bobcat Live. You got to tell me, how was the pizza tonight?
Oh, it was good. Yeah.
I've never tried it, but it looks good.
Good. Hey, we got a new Zeno's fan right here in David Santa Cruz, Clay Jakey. Those guys be starting out there on the offense and defensive line coming up tomorrow night. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Pregame show starts at 6 on KFJB and KFJB-TV. Of course, we are streaming on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and 1230kfjb.com. And be like David Santa Cruz and give a like and subscribe on our YouTube channel on KFJB-TV. We'll return. We'll talk the MFL and defensive line with Coach Tim Holmgren and Franklin Principal in the Marshalltown School District. Bobcat Live continues next right here on KFJB-TV.
Never have to wait after ordering new appliances. At Penn's Appliance, you wouldn't. With an incredible selection in stock and ready to install today. Our friendly team is here to help you pick the perfect set to match your style. And let our professional technicians install and set up your new appliances, often delivering the very next day. Stop in today, see all the new features, and find your new look at Penn's Appliance. For sales and service of everything appliance, go see the Pence team.
Why choose Marshalltown Community College for your education?
A quality education.
Hands-on career training.
Convenient on-campus living.
One-on-one attention from my instructors.
Earning my AA degree and transferring to university, all while saving money.
Why was MCC the right choice for me? The great student activities and the friends I met. 2 convenient locations and the option to take online classes.
The right choice is MCC.
At Sports Plus Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy Center, we customize each patient's treatment plan to their individual needs. What does that mean? It means that not every back or knee problem is treated the same, and that your program will be unique and designed especially for your needs or problem. This improves how quickly you will return to work or sports. The Sports Plus staff is encouraging and takes pride in your successful recovery. This is just one more reason why champions choose Sports Plus Physical Therapy as their favorite place to rehabilitate and train.
Since 1967, Jensen Ford Lincoln has served generations of families around central Iowa. Quality vehicles, professional service, knowledge of our product, that's a part of Jensen. But what's more important to us is a trust that is passed down from every generation. Jensen Ford Lincoln wants to serve your family. We want to be there for your first car, we want to be there for your family SUV, and we want to see you drive away in the Mustang you always dreamed of. At Jensen, we want to be here for you now and every mile along the way.
You're an empty nester closing in on that retirement property. Chances are your plans didn't include mom moving in, but life happens and you do the right thing. Wells Fargo Advisors can help. For more than 125 years, we've created wealth management and investment strategies aimed at achieving our clients' personal financial goals. When retirement means caring for yourself and a loved one, turn to Wells Fargo Advisors. Together we'll go far.
Wells Fargo Advisors is located at 14 East South Ridge Road in Marshalltown. Call them at 641-752-5401. They're a member SIPC.
Back in on Bobcat Live, all presented by Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown. And great to have you tuned in. As Dylan Dose, I'm Brandon Lewis. Tim Holmgren, defensive line coach for the Marshalltown football team, as well as principal at Franklin, and also on the board. And you're still the head of the MFL?
Yes,
is that right? Okay. Let's start there, though. We'll talk about David and Clay here in a little bit because they're pretty impressive football guys, aren't they?
They're great kids to be around.
Yeah. Of course, the MFL celebrating 50 years. They'll be honored before the game tomorrow night.
Yep. Yeah, we have a great opportunity to kind of recognize those that started our league. It's pretty impressive. It's been 50 years.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of leagues like ours that can say that.
Yeah. What do you think makes the MFL unique?
I really think that the MFL is set up for development. It's not so much about wins and losses. It's about having young kids engaging in one of the best games ever, in my biased opinion. Kids learn a lot from all sports, but they especially learn from football. Just how important it is to focus, how important it is to work together, have responsibility for what your role is. And those are all life skills we want kids to have.
Looking back, I think the teamwork was the biggest thing I learned from football. Like how to work with somebody else.
Yep, it is probably the most difficult team sport in my opinion, simply because at any given time there's 11 different parts that have to be working together.
Yeah, it's a team sport, but it's also an individual. I mean, you've got to go out there and execute at your spot, and I think that's all what the youth aspect gets people going. It's really fun to be out there on a Saturday and seeing all three fields going and players out there and people cheering on. It's just it's an awesome experience.
It is. I hope everyone listening has a chance to just stop out on a Saturday, catch a game. It doesn't matter if it's a Marshalltown team or it's one of the other communities that brings kids over, but it's just great. Kids are having fun, families are having fun, and you can't beat the experience for kids on a Saturday morning.
What do you think has led to 50 years of the MFL?
Well, it has to start with the volunteer base. As times have changed over the last 10 years or so, it's been more and more difficult for volunteerism. And this is an opportunity that people have in our community to not only help grow the game, but to influence kids in a positive way through a game.
Yeah.
The dads that have played before love being out there coaching, running around with the kids, talking X's and O's.
Yeah.
But what it really comes down to it is when the young boys and girls walk off the field, we hope they're better kids.
Yeah.
One thing that I got a chance to see is because Tim was one of the coaches of my son's team, and what I absolutely loved is as I knew that I would send my son out there, if he was going to get yelled at, which is good, because he also knew the coaches cared and they were teaching towards the right thing. And I think he came out of that every year, better understanding, better understanding of getting work, and also accountability. So when you talk about development and you're developing volunteers, one thing that I've noticed more and more, especially since Coach Goodvin has been a part of Marshalltown football, is you will see those high school players at the field on Saturdays. And this year I actually got a text from a good friend of mine whose son is on a flag football team, and they were struggling with getting coaches, and he sent me a pic. He says, look at this, and there were 3 high school players coaching that flag football team. So all that development, all that connection, what does that tell you about MFL and the development of the high school Bobcats?
I think the Bobcat program is in great hands with Coach Goodvin. He's a young guy. He's got great ideas, very personable, knows the X's and O's. I mean, football's a family game for him. And you can see his influence on our kids, not only on the field but off the field. Yep, I did some, I'll admit, it was me. I recruited 6 seniors, Bobcat seniors, to coach our 2 flag football teams.
Who are those 6?
Oh, gosh, I knew you were going to
They're senior Bobcat players, Brandon. Senior 1, Senior 2, Senior 3, Senior 3B.
I don't get to see a lot of the running back receivers type very often in practice, so I'm still learning all their names.
Of course, that is the other position for you as the defensive line coach for the Marshalltown Bobcat football team. Though I know at halftime you're going to be honored with the MFL for 50 years, but I know last year you had the players also run out with the team.
Yeah.
Are you going to do that again?
Yeah, we'll do that. I haven't worked with Mr. Igor yet to set that date. It'll be probably more towards October.
Okay.
We will definitely have that MFL recognition night for the kids.
I just, when you go to a high school football stadium and you see the kids playing catch and not even paying attention to the game, but they're just there, and then, they see the players on the field or whatever it may be, or they have the interactions at the practice. I mean, anything you can do to keep them excited about being a Bobcat, I think, is just tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there are mixed opinions about those kids playing those games back there and not sitting.
See, I was one of those kids doing that.
Yeah,
every kid was one of those kids doing that.
It's just really about the safety of it for kids. And as a parent, I would always discourage my son from being down there during that time, but he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
He's with his friends. They're doing something they enjoy.
Yeah.
Running around, meeting new kids, stuff like that. So to me, that shows that the interest is there in our community. Mm-hmm. And we just need to be able to tap into all the different pieces of our community to make sure there's good representation with our kids.
I don't remember where it was. Dylan, maybe you saw it, but I think like somewhere in Texas or Florida, they actually built a little mini field just past the end zone for all the kids so they could be like right there.
I did see that.
Yeah, a little turf field and everything. I just think it's tremendous, and it's cool to see that, whether it's, at a baseball game and you see, kids playing catch or whatever it is, just their involvement and excitement. I mean, how much pride do you take on being a Bobcat and making sure that, because, obviously you're a coach, but you're also a principal, and so you've got a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, well, Marshalltown's my home. I'm not born and raised here, but lived here since 2001, and my kids have come up and are still in the school system and working through Bobcat athletics and activities. And so to me, you can tell the people that are born and raised here. Mm-hmm. There's folks that know every part of the history. Mm-hmm. So when I was teaching 3rd grade, we used to do Marshalltown history. And so I can walk around town or drive around and see the different places we used to talk about. Mm-hmm. And I know the story behind that building, or I know the story behind this stretch of land. There's a lot of pride in this community, and we need to keep building that.
Yeah.
And I think literally why we get to do this and have the coaches show is that Marshalltown pride. But I think also the thing is, as you're coaching David and Clay, 2 great young men, is to those kids, and I know a friend when he was talking about it, was like, it was the greatest thing in the world that his son, he was so excited because that might as well be an NFL superstar, coaching them up. And then you get to see that come up with that pride of community, doing the best to give back. And you see David and Clay, just young men that are great young men. But then as a defensive line coach, you're hearing, violence, 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 and they're ready and locked in. How excited does that make you when you hear that from those two young men?
Last Friday on the sideline, I was probably the biggest kid out there,
Yeah.
just giggly and taking pictures of being back on the field. It's been a long time since I've been on the sideline of a Friday night football game with the Bobcats. I am blessed to coach at a position where I work with a lot of really good kids. And part of that's to the parents, to the families, the community as they bring in those kids up. They're great role models to have out in our flag football teams or just in the community, and hopefully that will just continue to generate excitement for the game.
And with you and seeing that defensive line rotation, and I've talked a lot about it, but it was so shocking, Brandon and I, it was so clear that this was just happening over and over. Does that come more from your call as a defensive line coach, or is that more of a Coach Furch situation, or is that kind of in conjunction?
Coach Furch is the boss on the defensive side. So I don't have any problem sharing my opinions with him and thoughts, but as the game progressed and we saw the tendencies even more than what we had seen on film with Ames, we kind of went with a heavy package where we had actually 3 defensive tackles on the field at once. And then we started rotating some smaller kids that were a lot faster, and they usually present a lot of trouble for those bigger offensive tackles to do. Then we started moving the front around, doing some of that. We actually moved Clay inside for a few series just to give the offensive line something to think about.
Mm-hmm. Back to a little bit of the MFL. I wanted to touch on this because I think it's such a huge thing. I know you were mentioning having to recruit some players to help coach. I've seen and just heard a lot of things about less coaches at the youth level overall. I think we're all busy. Dylan has found time to coach at the youth level. And, I'm coaching soccer right now and things of that nature. What do you say to somebody who, obviously you want to put your kid in everything, but you're not helping coach, not to be on a rant, but I just kind of feel like nowadays everybody wants to do everything, but they don't want to help in that process. I guess what would you say to somebody to encourage them to get involved coaching? It doesn't even have to be a head coach, maybe an assistant.
And actually, the assistants are even far more important than the head coach when it comes to practice with the youth, simply because it can be like herding mice at certain times, trying to get everybody focused and on the right page. I guess my recruiting spiel to those adults that are wondering whether I don't know enough about the game or I don't know this, I always come back to the fact somebody did it for me.
Yeah.
Somebody's dad was out there coaching me, and they invested time in me so that I could be where I'm at.
Yeah.
And so I think we owe that to our kids.
Yeah.
And, the game of football, yes, can be very complex. But when it comes to having kids do repetitive drills, you don't have to know a lot about football in order to work on one specific drill. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about those volunteers that do have football experience, whether it be coaching or playing, they're able to help set those drills up. Mm-hmm. So I think whatever we can do to continue to foster the excitement around the game, we have to do. And
I've learned a lot on YouTube.
Yeah.
I've learned it's a cheat code for coaching, YouTube. I know there's people out there that know more than me, that's for sure.
Always.
And I'll also say this, and this is just from more of that dad perspective, no kid had too many adults that cared about him.
No.
And I think that opportunity to support and use sports is just another, and it's true with women as well, but I think another, from a male perspective, having another man that may not be your dad or whatnot, but cares about you, looks out for you, and then watches you as you ascend through school. Maybe on that Friday night Bobcat, you're watching like, hey, I coach that kid. That's a good kid. I know that kid. I just think it gives back a lot. Yes, it is a lot of time. Yes, I'm kind of happy after a handful of years. I'm taking this year off of any youth coaching. But there's kids I get to watch all the time, and I know them because I got to coach them, and that's always a big deal.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that is for sure. And it's definitely not all about the wins and losses. You look back to like how they just grew as an athlete or a person in general. So keep up the good work, all right?
Hey, thank you.
Hey, good stuff. And get out to the game on Friday night, Waterloo East, and so they'll honor the MFL 50 years. Did you know that the MFL was a baby when we were already 50 years into broadcasting Bobcat football right here on KFJB?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
did you
100 years ago.
Did you know Franklin
1922
Field is the site of the first broadcasted sporting event in United States history?
I did know that.
Yeah,
I did know that.
You talked about your tour earlier, so we just had to make sure that you knew your talking
that
points.
Part of the history. I got that. I got that part.
Hey, we will return and talk swimming. Can we get a little cheer? Yeah, we got like 20 of the swimmers in here with us on Bobcat Live. We'll return from Zeno's in downtown Marshalltown right here on KFJB-TV.
Furniture and Mattress has your mattress. Every firmness, comfort, and support level, each at a great price. Make the investment today for a good night's sleep for years to come. McGregor's also has quality furniture for every room in your home. Beautiful, comfortable sofas, recliners, dinette sets, and office furniture to help you work and relax in comfort and style. McGregor's Furniture is proud to bring you quality furniture and great service, and they are proud to support Bobcat Athletics. McGregor's Furniture and Mattress, downtown Marshalltown, open 7 days a week.
Your home is the one place where everything should be perfect, including your air. Capon & Brown helps you achieve the perfect air you deserve with reliable, groundbreaking, award-winning Lennox products. Call Capon & Brown to hear more about how they can help you feel healthier and happier in your home. It doesn't get any more perfect than that. Call them today at 641-753-3563 or visit them online at caponandbrowninc.com. Your local premier Lennox dealer, where quality has been a promise for 48 years.
Resetting your password, unsubscribing from emails, printing anything. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with an auto owner's insurance independent agent, getting the right coverage for your business doesn't have to be one of them, so you can get back to more important things, like learning how that printer works. That's simple human sense.
Your auto owner's insurance agent in Marshalltown, Toledo, and West Des Moines is Assured Partners, powered through partnership.
Whether it's time for a new ride or a new-to-you ride, Lennox Employees Credit Union is here to help with new and used vehicle loans. Rates are as low as 2.24% for up to 60 months for new vehicles and used vehicles for 48 months. Go to their website, lennoxecu.com, for further details and membership eligibility, or call the office to talk to a loan officer. Low auto loan rates from Lennox Employees Credit Union, 1004 East Main Street in Marshalltown. Member NCUA.
Back at Zeno's in Marshalltown. Great to have you tuned in to Bobcat Live. It's time to talk swimming. You're live on camera. Come on, here we go. Great to have the swim team here tonight. This is awesome. This is awesome. Thanks for coming out, Angie.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, Angie Nelson, the head coach for the girls' swim team, with us here on Bobcat Live. So when I asked you, you said, yeah, I'll come in. You got to tell me what I need to talk about a little bit. And then your next email to me was, I'm bringing the whole swim team with me. So that is awesome. Thanks so much for coming out here and being a part of what we're doing. What's it like to have these extra moments, though, to bond and get the girls all together and be able to just, talk swimming, or maybe not even talk swimming, just kind of become, bonding as a team?
I would say they just talk. They're really good at talking. In fact, Stalchers came to do our poster picture a couple of weeks ago, and on the blackboard, somebody had written, "Stop talking," and the poster picture had that. We had to ask them to Photoshop it out. So anyway, they're a really fun group. They all have such unique personalities, and they come together in a very special way, and I think Times Out of the Water is fantastic for them to create relationships and memories, because that's what they're going to remember from Bobcat Athletics.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely true. If you look back, anybody, you remember the memories you created with your friends, things like that. What kind of group is this? You have a lot of seniors coming back. How special is this group?
It's a great group. Like I said, they've got a lot of leadership here. We have 7 seniors on the team, cool. And all of them but one have been with us for quite a while. And she's blending in really, really good, that new one. She's awesome, too. So it's a great group to work with. They're lots of fun. There's a lot of spirit there. Sometimes a little too much spirit, but that is okay, too. We like that, and we like that charisma, and it really makes for good group dynamics.
Well, I know all about that. I work with Dylan, and he's a little over the top every now and then, too. So on Tuesday, you were at home and in town. I know you finished second. You had the duel with Newton and Hoover as well too. You got second place at that one.
We did. It was a good meet. That was our second meet of the season. We had another one at Des Moines Lincoln last week, and then our divers had an 11 dive meet the day before school started. So that was a great way for them to get back into the swing of things as well. So we performed really well. We're just trying to figure out where everybody kind of fits in the puzzle for us, and we're going to have a very competitive season. We've got some girls that really get off the blocks well and get out and race, and love to see that. And we've got some girls who are going to come along here in a couple weeks or so, and we've got some girls who are going to swim themselves into shape, and they're going to have a rock star October. And looking forward to that. And we've got some really strong diving too.
Yeah, cool. How do you get ready for the season as a swimmer? I mean, I played football, so I kind of know, but how do you get? Let's start with Riley. She's down here at the end. Riley Robinson, a senior for the Marshalltown girls swim team. How do you get ready? How do you train? Is it kind of an all-year thing?
I usually swim throughout the year. I took the summer off, and that really kicked my butt. But usually we start with like just drills and then kind of build up, which helps. But that first main set, we're like, oh, it's bad. But yeah, and then we just kind of ease into it. Mm-hmm. And then it's like the second week that they really start to go set after set. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Being a senior and a letter winner, what's it like being kind of a leader on this team? I really like having kind of leadership over the team. Makes me feel good. So, yeah. All right, and then what do you swim? Angie likes to put me in pretty much everything. Okay, all right. I don't really have a certain event, but yeah. And then Kaisa Stanley, you're a senior as well, and a returning winner. Yep. And you're a diver, I hear. Yes, all right. Am. So tell me how that. I mean, the diving. I still don't know how to dive, and I'm 35, so I know there's something that can be, taught to me about diving. But I mean, that's when I watched the Olympics. That's kind of the base of my knowledge. Plus, my sister swam when she was in high school up in Spencer, up in Northwest Iowa. So I don't know a whole lot. But tell me about diving. I mean, that just seems like you've got to be really repetitive and just keep working.
Yeah. We go to club diving. Most of the divers here go to club diving in the summer, and it's just dive after dive after dive after dive. And it's more of a mental sport than swimming is. Swimming's okay. Yeah, swimming's really hard, but diving's mentally hard. Really? Yeah. Okay. So what is, I guess, the biggest challenge? Like, is there a certain move that you do that you try to, it's just like, that's, I don't know, like the spin thing? I don't know what you call that thing. Flip? Just a flip? Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
That would scare me. Like, I don't know. Because I tried to dive one time early on, and I did a belly flop, and I couldn't breathe for like 10 seconds. Like, that's... Yeah. My relationship with swimming is not the greatest.
Yeah, you kind of have to get used to smacking a lot. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big part of diving.
That's my biggest fear, and I think that's why I'm not I'll probably never be a diver. Yeah. So how's the season gone for you so far?
It's gone pretty good. I have some new dives that I've been working on, and I think they're going pretty good this season.
What is the name of one of your favorite dives?
My favorite.
Is it
dive.
like when I turn on the X Games and you watch the snowboarding and they've got these, double cross loop banana Y, kind of thing? Nothing crazy like that?
No, my favorite dive that I've been working on is reverse 1.5. Reverse 1.5. Okay, yeah. So what's that move? Okay, you go forward off the board.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a gainer. Do you know what a gainer is?
No, not really.
Okay, you go forward. Oh, he knows what a gainer is. You go forward off the board, and then you do a backflip.
Oh, really?
So you kind of do a backflip towards the board.
Okay, and so you're kind of coming back like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's intense. So how do they? I mean, obviously, I know swimming, like, it's based on time, so that's really easy. How do they figure diving and scoring and all that?
It's whoever gets the highest score. So they score each dive out of 10.
Okay.
And then they multiply that by. They add up the scores from all the judges, and then they multiply that by the difficulty of the dive. Mm-hmm. So if it's a really hard dive, it has a higher difficulty. So how do you work with Coach to be able to line up? Because I'm sure there's judges judge differently on different dives. How do you work, or do you game plan for that? Or do you just kind of go in and you just know?
The coaches are the judges.
Oh,
and then we usually have an official that also judges with us. So when we have a contest like we had the other night, there were no other divers from the other schools, and that in our new alliance conference will be a common thing. Okay. And so we have our assistant coach Leah Barkema, who's also back here in the crowd, and then myself, and then the official. And our official for a lot of the girls' meet is the boys' head coach, Mike Loopy.
Okay.
So he's known diving for years as well, and so we 3 are the judges, and that's kind of how it goes. When we did our 11 dive meets, we prefer to have a 7-judge panel, and that way we drop the high and the low scores, and that way they get the benefit of the average.
It is amazing to see somebody. I mean, like I go back to like when my sister was in high school, watching them, and just seeing like during the Olympics and watching Michael Phelps and people like that. I mean, you got to be like strong from head to toe to be a really good swimmer. I mean, it takes a lot more than just core strength. I mean, every part of your body's working.
It is. It's a grueling thing. I think these girls are probably tired from what they did earlier today in practice, and they'll hit that again tomorrow. So when Riley said we kind of work a lot of stroke technique and things like that at the beginning, and then you hit this wall where you're just like, all right, it's time to go. We better start working out. And they do really well, and they come around and their times get faster and faster, and then we load them up with some strength conditioning, and then we work throughout the season, and then we drop them down at the end. We call it a taper. It's kind of a rest period where we come down gradually, and that way they can have the best championship meets that they can.
Yeah. Is it? I know, like I've talked, cross country a lot. It's like you may not be placing high early on, but as you go, it's kind of like you're trying to peak at the right time. Is that much like swimming too?
Yep, it is. It's a lot like that. We want to make sure that we're having our fastest times of the season and the championship part of the season. So we'll work. We do have a couple of time-seeded meets throughout the season where we try and we'll maneuver the practicing a little bit beforehand so we get some really good times for those time-seed meets, because at the end of the day, that's how we go into our championship season.
Yeah. Wow. Riley, do you know, like, when you're a swimmer, do you just kind of get the feeling like, like, hey, things are coming along, I'm really starting to feel good about the direction I'm going in swimming, and you kind of, like, at your peak, I guess you would say? Do you kind of know when you kind of get there as a swimmer?
Yeah, I think for about most swimmers, it's about mid-season, mid-October, right before we're getting ready to drop off. But, yeah, I feel like mid-season, all of our times really start to drop. And, yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, I bet it does. All right, so what's kind of next on the schedule for you here?
Next Tuesday, we face Des Moines East away, and then on Thursday, we have Cedar Rapids, Washington, and they'll be here. And that's a way out of conference, long-standing dual meet schedule that we've kept with them.
Cool. That's awesome. How are the lower levels doing for you as well?
Great. We have 9 freshmen on our team this year, and we have 3 sophomores and 5 juniors to go with our 7 awesome seniors.
Yeah.
And so it's just a good dynamic. I think everybody's learning from each other, and everybody brings a little something special to the team.
It just seems like you have a lot of leadership and people coming back and doing good things for you. Is this how long have you? I can't remember how long you've been here, but coaching swimming, and is this one of your stronger teams?
This is a great team. I would say charisma-wise, yeah, strongest of charisma. When I first started here in 2006, 2007, we were state runners-up, so we had a really strong team at that point too.
Yeah.
So, and then we've had a couple of smatterings along the way where we've had top 15 finishes, top 12 finishes. So, yeah, our goal this year is to get some things to state and have these girls compete as well as they can, and to really push their limits and hopefully have some great success.
Yeah, for sure. We wish you nothing but the best of luck this season. Thanks for coming on, and maybe we'll get some diving lessons one of these days, all right? I'm okay with the swimming part. It's just the diving thing. I'm not. I like to be in the water, moving, not out, in. That kind of thing. A cannonball is probably more of my speed, I guess. Dylan, that's more your speed as well, all right? Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Anything else you wanted to make sure you get out to Bobcat Nation here?
Well, we just hope for awesome support from our Bobcat community. These girls come from many different schools. So I've got a girl from GMG. I've got girls from West Marshall, MLA, and MHS. And we had an East Marshall, all represented on this team. So we bring a large community. The swimming community and diving community is very tight, and we love our folks.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks again, Angie.
Thank you.
Girls, thanks for coming on, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is Bobcat Live from Zeno's in Marshalltown. We would love to have you come out here like the swim team here tonight. That's awesome. The pizza, how was it? Was it good? Oh, wow. We got a lot of double thumbs up. I think that's swim practice. Hey, of course, we are streaming each and every week on YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe on our KFJB-TV channel, as well as Facebook, Twitter, and at 1230kfjb.com. I'm Brandon Lewis. Dylan Does, our producer. Thanks to Todd Steinkamp and everyone's favorite, a crowd favorite, intern Zach as well. So let's give it up. All right, we'll talk to you next week live from Zeno's at 6 right here on KFJB-TV.